Hello friends, welcome back. In this tutorial we will learn how we can evaluate trigonometric limits. So first of all I will discuss some common theorems which will be helpful to solve the problems. First one is this one, limit x tends to 0 sin x upon x is equal to 1. Second one is limit x tends to 0 tan x upon x is equal to 1. Now we will solve some questions based on these theorems. So first of all we will solve some simple questions, then we will move to some typical questions. So let us see first question. Question 1. We have to evaluate limit x tends to 0 sin 3x upon 3. Sin 3x upon x. So in this case what we will do, we will multiply both numerator and denominator by 3. So we will have 3 sin 3x upon 3x. We have multiplied both numerator and denominator by 3. So as x tends to 0 here, therefore 3x will also tends to 0. So we will have 3 into limit 3x tends to 0 sin 3x upon 3x, and it will be equal to 3 into 1, right? This will be equal to 1. Now let us solve another question. This was a very simple question. Now this one also is a very simple one. Limit x tends to 0 sin 5x upon 2x. So in this case what we need to do, we need to multiply both numerator and denominator by 5. So we will have 5 sin 5x upon 2 into 5x. So it will be equal to limit 5 by 2 limit x tends to 0 sin 5x upon 5x. So as x tends to 0, therefore 5x will also tends to 0. So sin 5x upon 5x. So this will be equal to 1. Right, this expression will be equal to 1. So we will have 5 by 2 into 1. It is equal to 5 by 2. Now let us solve another question. Limit x tends to 0 sin ax upon sin bx. So we will multiply and divide numerator by ax. So we will have sin ax upon ax into ax. Similarly, we will multiply and divide denominator by bx. So we will have sin bx upon bx into bx. So this x will cancel this x. So we will have a upon b. This a and b will come out of this expression. Limit x tends to 0 sin ax upon ax sin bx upon bx. Now as x tends to 0, therefore ax tends to 0, also bx also tends to 0. So it will be equal to a upon b limit ax tends to 0 sine ax upon ax limit bx tends to 0 sine bx upon bx, right? And it will be equal to a upon b into 1 upon 1, because this expression will be equal to 1 and this expression will also be equal to 1. So the answer is a upon b. Now next question is also like this. Now we have to evaluate limit x tends to 0 sine square ax upon sine square bx. So it will be equal to limit x tends to 0 sine ax into sine ax upon sine bx into sine bx. So we will multiply and divide numerator by a square and x square. So we will get limit x tends to 0 sine ax it is sine ax upon ax into sine ax upon ax into a square x square. Similarly, we will multiply and divide denominator by b square x square. So we will get sine bx upon bx into sine bx upon bx into b square x square. So this x square will cancel this x square. So we will have a square upon b square. Limit x tends to 0 sine ax upon ax into sine bx upon bx. Sorry, it is also ax. This is in numerator, and denominator we have sine bx upon bx into sine bx upon bx. So as ax tends to as x tends to 0, therefore ax will also tends to 0 and bx will also tends to 0. So these expressions will become 1. So I will have a square upon b square, right? As x tends to 0, therefore ax will also tends to 0 and bx will also tends to 0. So these expressions will become 1. Now let us solve another simple question which is similar to this one. Limit x tends to 0 sine square 3x upon x square. So we will multiply numerator and denominator. It is x. We will multiply numerator and denominator both by 9, right? So we will have 9 into limit x tends to 0 sine 3x upon 3x into limit x tends to 0 sine 3x upon 3x is equal to 9. As limit x tends to 0, therefore limit 3x, as x tends to 0, Therefore 3x will also tends to 0. So I will have limit 3x tends to 0 sine 3x upon 3x into limit 3x tends to 0 sine 3x upon 3x. So it will be equal to 9 into 1 into 1 is equal to 9. Now let us solve another question. Now we have to evaluate limit x tends to 0 1 minus cos 2x upon x square. Now see, 1 minus cos 2x is twice sine square x. Right? So it will be equal to 2 into limit x tends to 0 sine square x upon x square. It will be equal to 2 into limit x tends to 0 sine x upon x into limit x tends to 0 sine x upon x. It will be equal to 2 into 1 into 1 is equal to 2. So the answer is 2. Now let us solve another question. Limit x tends to 0 1 minus cos 2x upon x. So again 1 minus cos 2x is equal to twice sine square x, right? So it will be equal to twice limit x tends to 0 sine x upon x into limit x tends to 0 sine x. So limit x tends to 0 sine x upon x, it will be equal to 1. But limit x tends to 0 sine x, it will be equal to sine 0, and sine 0 is 0. So it will be equal to 0. So 2 into 1 into 0 is 0. So the answer is 0. Now let us solve another question.